Hello. How you doing, Alex? Slept a little better last night, but still woke up to, like, the muscles around my ribs jerking around. Again, probably just a side effect of all the shit. There, now you might actually be able to see something. Ah. Clicking too many things. There we go. But we were talking yesterday about how large the Fennek is. Here's a Humvee. This seats 4 people. So I'm backtracking a little bit. What's still interfering with your lives? Sorry. The delay is fucking with my ability to hold a conversation. Are you talking about other individuals? Yeah, but I'm just backtracking on the instructions because I didn't want to knock off a lot of the little stuff. So I'm just making sure I got everything. Now YouTube chat connected successfully. Okay. Again, I don't know a lot about EU business law, but if there's any kind of reciprocity from you going to HR, that is also an accountable offense. At least over here it is. 18. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got those on. You know, I'm not even gonna bother with the photo etch crap to make the wheel chalk. I'm just gonna glue it together. I'm not bending and shaping all that. It gives you the option, but I don't need it. But hey, I managed to get on earlier today. Hey, Love Minis, how you doing? Now, supposedly, I have a second sprue of B parts for the other one that goes there. I must be blind. Oh, there it is. Derp. Yeah, definitely CYA in this case. Hi, Marmar. I got Arnie asleep on my foot under the desk. Marbles is walking around checking on him, because Marbles is his buddy. I gave Arnie a nice big can of wet food earlier. So he's happily fed and taking a nap. There we go. Still getting the sleep out of my eyes. I've had my coffee, I've had my breakfast stuff. Taking my painkillers, just seeing what kicks in first. You're kidding me, I have no option but to use the photo etch crap? There's no just plastic version I can go and done? I severely dislike that. Alright, let's get the E-sprue. Hey, Frankie. Why are you afraid of marbles? You're bigger than him. Okay. So this is the forming tool. Hey, Aries. For the photo etch part. This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna glue my fingers together. E34. That they don't just give me a plastic option for the wheel chock and that I have to use the photo etch part. Well, especially when it's for something like a wheel chock that, you know, it's okay. But I'm thinking the next 35th scale subject after this will be the Fawn tank transporter. Or should I make that a 1,000 subscriber goal? We're already at 524 or 34. We're up there. Hey Fenrir, how you doing? Yeah, I gotta figure out something to do if we bust 1,000 subs on YouTube. What are you guys doing? You being nice to each other? Frankie, up! Right, how you doing, Jaeger? So, yeah, I showed Alex. Here is the Fennek, right? This is a German scout vehicle with a little telescoping sensor box up here and a remotely operated weapon system that can have a 40 cal or 40 millimeter, 50 cal, or an MG3. Here's a Humvee next to it. Ew, I'm sorry, Fenrir. So, yeah. I want a Fennek now. You think KMW would sell me one? I doubt they would, but it would be interesting if they did. So, on this, I'm gonna do something kind of stupid because I need to form this. And yeah, it's bendy, but is it bendy enough? So if you're ever working with photo etch and you need it to be more bendy than usual, anneal it. Heat it up, and this will allow it to really curve and take shape a lot easier. Don't quench it, just anneal it. Yeah, you're speaking French to me, Fenrir. And can we get a shout out for Jaeger, please? He runs a neat little Gunpla channel. Oh, Jaeger! That reminds me. You remember the other night we were talking about Frame Arms Girls? And I told you there was a new one coming out based on a very large mech in the series. It's out. Or it's for pre-order. I gotta get to the post. People thought Spider-Girl was something. Right? Well, Alex, there's actually something out there larger than the PZH 2000. And that would be the GTK Boxer Medical. And I want to get that. It's 33 bucks on Amazon, so we're working toward that. I'm trying to not buy more models and finish up models I've got. But the phone needs a transport. But I sent that to my wife and I said, "Look, they finally did a Frame Arms Girl built like you." She hasn't responded. She's out of town with family. I think she was asleep when I sent it. I think it's just SO and then the Jaegerborn. Or did it work? I can't tell. But yeah, if you guys could go ahead, give him a follow too. Waiting for it to cool a bit. So now that I've done that and I can handle it without, you know, it burning into my fingers, I can begin to form it using this tool. Well, my wife is extremely supportive of the hobby and my interests, so she knows I'm joking. Why are the shoutouts not working? But yeah, if I tried this with... I think they changed them again, but I don't know. Did it work? Yeah, Twitch be twitching. No, I have been blessed with a wife that has never told me no when it comes to my hobbies or interests, so. But I also don't overdo it, or I try not to overdo it. Okay, I see how that goes. Alright, 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 alright. Hey, Arnie boy. You making biscuits, old man? Yeah. Got an 18-year-old cat sleeping at my feet. Making biscuits in his sleep. Well, she doesn't really... It's not that she doesn't care. It's that... As long as the bills are paid first, it doesn't matter. If I want to get something, I gotta save for it, you know? If I save for it, it means I can get it. If I don't save for it, it means I don't get it. So it's all up to me. Okay, I'm gonna pry this open because this actually gets glued inside there on this part, which means I've got to flatten this part back out a little bit. Yes, adulting can be dumb, but at the same time, adulting offers you opportunities that childing normally doesn't get. Note to self, don't do this shit when you're just waking up and have not allowed your coffee to kick in fully. You see, they could have just made this an injection molded plastic like Revell does and called it good, but no, they had to make most of it photo etch. That I never think I'd be in a good mindset to do anyway. Uh-oh, look out. Get you to 90. Still not 100% sure about that, but I'm just gonna live with it. I'm not gonna fight at anybody. Hey Jeff, how you doing? Let that set for a moment. Make sure my chair is clear so I don't roll over a tail. Oh, exactly. And now that I've got my new goal in mind and in my sights, yeah, things are going to be changing a little bit. Hence why I'm not buying as many models, and I'm trying to finish a lot more of what I got. I'm okay. It's Tuesday. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to crimp that around that and probably not even have to glue it. Well, we all mess up. The question is, what do we do after it? Sometimes it's the builder's fault, sometimes it's the instructions' fault. I already came across 2 things in the instructions on this that would have screwed me up. This piece isn't even called out for, and yeah, it doesn't tell you which step to put it in, it just magically appears. Well, I appreciate the sub, but later this week I'm going to be going back to work. I'm just on a little 4-day hiatus right now. If I can catch you, I will. I'll jump into the shorts, possibly. There we go. That looks more or less like the chalk. Yeah, I typically only stream on my days off, which are sporadic at best as far as when they are. Like, right now I'm off till Thursday. I don't know when my next day off's going to be after that. Could be Sunday or Monday. Could be 6 days after that. Okay. So now, there's 2 straps that go along here. Number's 22. Well, I don't work at Walmart, so... Or Volmar, or whatever that is. I'm glad I don't work there. I worked there once when shit was really tight. Never again. But that was after the wonderful, you know, economic boom that was 2008. Come on, fingies, work. Ah, it didn't go down far enough. Darn it. That's what she said. Oh, wait. Well, we're taking steps in life to try and alleviate ourselves from the necessity of working retail, but it is what it is. Better. I was able to stand up without having to grab the window ledge next to the bed and get up. Minimal angry Optimus or in pain Arnold noises today, so no, you know, nothing like that getting out of bed. Whoop. Drop. Again. This time I'm going to start this one on the flat face and then bend it over and around the back. So are we doing more That's What She Said jokes, Alex? It's not very long, on the other hand, it is thin. Sorry, couldn't help it. Come on, super glue, kick for a second. There we go. Yeah, but for those wondering about the next project, the next project will be this bad boy. I found it for under $50 a few Christmases ago, so I got it. Thank you for the follow. Come on, glue. I really don't need to wind up in the hospital again because of you. Yeah, for those who haven't been here a while, I've actually managed to have super glue fling into my eye. In a situation very similar to that, where I had the glue on, thought it was dry, hit it with the accelerator, and set the part down. So I'm working on another, and all of a sudden it goes, boing! And glue flew across the desk, and landed directly in my eye. So right after it happened, I promptly called Aries up and said, "Yo, man, going to the ER. I'll be in when I'm in tomorrow." He's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "I got super glue in eye." Hubin, about $1,000. If you really were asking about the Fawn and 16th scale, such a beast does exist. I can't put that on yet because I haven't made the other piece. Give me 1 second, Alex. Okay, $1,400, but that's tractor and trailer, fully functional. There you go. Now you can get something to display your 1/16 scale Leopard 2A7 on. Okay, I see how it's supposed to not work now. Not really, I'm completely lost right now, but that's okay. And you go like that. Right? Yeah, you go like that. And then... Okay. I kinda see what's going on here. Because this actually gets glued inside here. That's why there's little lines there. Just wondering about that. Just like that. Where did my sandpaper go? My abrasive silica and cellulose film. There we go. Marmar, why are you just sitting down there, buddy, huh? Come on, super glue. I do like that this super glue is a much more slow setting until I kick it. That's as good as I'm getting that. There we go. And then this slots in there. I think I got it down too far. I did. Needs to be more like that. Yep, had it at the wrong spot. Oh well, that's why we break it apart and redo it. Marbles, Arnie isn't passing yet. I know he's 18. I know he's showing signs of it, but not yet. As long as that little bugger's still jumping up on the counter to get dinner, he's not going anywhere. That's better. Yep. And I am going to glue it in place because I really don't feel like messing around with anything else. Oh, I'll tell you, it's not far off. It could be any week now, to be honest. He got out last summer, and we thought he was actually he'd actually run off to pass away. But somebody found him in their garage. We think he did actually run off to die. Because he's not an outdoor cat by any means. Okay, so... I need to figure out how these go. I see it now. Okay. But thanks again to everybody for joining in. We'll see if we run into a stopping point, but I'd like today's stream to be a little bit longer than the usual 3 hours. I'd like to aim for possibly 4. Gotta get that longevity back up. This does some weird freaky deaky stuff to match up to the ones underneath, so... What the hell? And it doesn't show it from the side to show you how to bend it, it just shows that it goes, eh. Really? Okay, we'll deal with this first. Because it looks like this folds back underneath. And then that folds down. And then this does a whole other thing. What are you... Yeah, I'm talking to you. What are you on about? Huh? Meow. Do you want lap time? Yeah, that was my aim, and I want to try and even be on earlier tomorrow, so that way on my days off, I'm not as stupid at forcing myself up out of bed. Because that is the ultimate goal right now, is for me to stop being a lazy ass. And there's only one way that's happening now, isn't it? Come on. You know, about a half an hour of this time could have been saved if this is just a plastic part. I'm gonna test fit this just to see. Okay, we're looking at this upside down. And this supposedly just goes right here. I need to look up a picture of the real thing. No, that's my worst thing, is I've begun to procrastinate, and I don't like it. Okay, these go like that. The way I've got it isn't exactly wrong. Okay. We're gonna live with it. I think I folded this part wrong on this one, though. Because it's supposed to resemble like that for where you would put a padlock. Because what's supposed to happen is that gets pinched right there. That's where a padlock would go through to secure it. Or a chain or a pin of some sort. So I did the other one wrong. You have to remember, which nation designs this wheel chuck retainer? They love to overcomplicate things, yeah? I mean, the Americans, we have a V8 with one tiny chiming chain in the middle. The Germans, they have an Audi V8 with a timing chain as long as the car. Sorry. Couldn't help it. But I'm not kidding. Have you ever seen what the front of a Audi engine's timing chain looks like? And that just snapped. That's alright. I just need to glue that there, really. Whee! Yeah, the instructions are not the greatest on how to bend this damn thing. Hey! No fighting, you two! They're probably playing, but Marbles did not want to play. And when Marbles does not want to play, Marbles does not play. Alright, let's see if we can get this janky thing on here now. The only way this could be more janky is if it was a Ukrainian video game from 2007. Wow, I did it right the second time. Let's clean that up a bit, because that's going to be the outward facing one. We'll see about getting this one in place, because by some miracle I actually got them lined up for the most part. And once we're past this, we can actually move on to constructing more of the model. You're not going to see that one anyway. Alright. Just 2 more pieces to glue on. And then this nightmare can be in plain sight for everybody to see once I'm done. B2, B2. So no, I did not watch Alien Earth last night. If you want to discuss it, nothing past episode 2, please. Where did my nippers go? Need to make it colder in here. I can find my nippers easier. Oh, wait. Why weren't these handles just made part of photo etch too? Why did I have to have plastic handles to glue on? I'll be sure to find a way to have something dangling down in front of this so it's hidden. I found more pictures of deployed Fennecs in ISAF service, both Germany and Netherlands, and there's crap on them. I just have to decide how much crap. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm tired of fighting with this thing. Hey, George. Where's that picture? And then, yeah, it all just gets blobbed up onto the side. Okay, there's 2 notches there. To act as a kind of locating pin. Nope, that ain't right. That's more right. Looks alright by my pictures that I've got. So we're gonna leave it like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was too much. Really, that a lot of that could have been plastic. All of that could have been plastic. So, did I miss anything else while trying to concentrate on all that? Oh yeah, the steps. I guess we're not done with the photo etch just yet. Where did that go? Okay, they're both right there. Come here. Come here. One of you. Okay. Everybody else have an okay weekend, though? The insulator bushings for my leaf springs should be here today. And hopefully either today or tomorrow we'll get the leaf springs done. We'll see. I'd rather get the transmission bushing done first, to be honest. I would have done more had I been more physically able. And it's really fucked up that I'm now feeling better in the last 2 days when I really could have used this time more effectively. Still not 100%, but, you know, I can at least bend over and pick things up. That way I could have done all the adulting chores at the beginning and had 3 days down instead of not do anything for 3 days and spend the last day running around trying to get shit done. Which is, to me, that's worse. I mean, there's doing nothing because you have a choice as an adult, and then there's doing nothing because your shit ain't service connected. Yeah, it is. There we go. Trying not to be bitter. It hasn't been terribly bad, just I don't like it when life cocks the fuck with me gun right when I'm about to have something advantageous happen. You know? It's a real downer. Okay, Arnie, I know you're enjoying the warmth down here, but I have to turn off the space heater, okay? H6, or the H sprue, the clear one? Do I have it up here? Oh, music's over. Give me a sec. Has it been an hour already? Wow, it has. Okay, after I get the music going, I am going to take a stretch break. I encourage you all to do the same if you've been sitting for a bit. The last thing you need is a blood clot. So I'm going to pause, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, I'm back, and Frankie brought me his favorite toy. Where are you, bud? There you are. Frank! Hey! Go get it. Okay. He'll bring that back. Found the H sprue. I'm just going to put these on and paint them up, because they are just a reflector, they are not a light. And he is back with the toy already. You are too fast with that. Where'd you put it? There it is. Go. Just don't let it get to the point where, like, the thought of going to work actually makes you sick. If it gets that far, that's never good. I mean, you are taking the right steps with what you've been doing so far. My concern is that given the nature of the individual you're dealing with, there could be some possible reciprocity that, for all intents, is illegal. It's just weird how eerily similar what you're going through is matching up to what I went through. And I just cut off the wrong nub. I'm an idiot. I'll make it work regardless. Give me a sec, Frank. I'll throw it again. Cut off the wrong nub, just get the other one down to the right size and shape and call it good. Okay. H6. There it is. What are those? I keep checking pictures because I have a small photo file of this that I found the pictures online. What the fuck? Frankie! Why did you do that? You have never done that before.
What do you do?
I will throw this when I'm ready. One moment, please. Anyway. Yeah, I didn't throw his toy in soon enough for him, so he swiped at my leg. He's never done that before. I try and leave as many of the lights and stuff off as I can till the end. That way I can properly paint them separately. And basically glue them on before I start any weathering. There we go, I need that picture. That's where that goes. Alright. Just so when I do the weathering and wear on the vehicle, they get the same treatment. But that's not always possible. And I need a new blade already. The super glue got to this one. Yeah, he's never done that before. And he drew a little blood. Wow. It's like, I know he's 2, and we suspect he's part Savannah. Like, a very small bit of it. With the energy he's got and his size, we think it might be the case. We don't know his exact breeding because he was a kitten that was brought to us. Our son's friend comes up one day. I found a kitten and you're the only cat people I know. Really? It's not like we were looking for another one either. Because at the time I had just brought Allie home and got her settled. In a way it helped her though, because she had a brother with her. And we tried giving him away because we really didn't want more cats. Still don't want more cats. But the people only wanted him. They didn't want her. Nobody wanted her. All the shelters were full. Usually by week 6 or 8 in kitten season, forget trying to shelter a cat. They're full. They won't take them. So we got stuck with her. And then we got stuck with him. And there we have it. I need the E-sprue. Come here, you. I mean, it's not bad, just we didn't want more. We're trying to live out the lives of the ones we had already. I'm still trying to figure out how to unsubscribe from the cat distribution system. It ain't working yet. Come on. There we go. Super tactical? Yeah, we used to use that term on people who just... they'd get all the Gucci shit for their gear, and no. Did you bring the poof back or no? Come here. Come say hi, Frank. This is Frank. Ugh. He's the big goofball that just clawed my leg. Yeah. Look at that face. Look at that face. Yeah, you're a big boy. Down you go. Where's the other mud guard? There it is. Yeah, they get all the Gucci gear that they don't actually need or use. What's funny is I played airsoft after I got out to kind of help keep me in shape, which it helped. I've gotten rounder since I stopped. And you had Geardos there too. But it was even worse. You'd have guys running around with M4s with like PEQ boxes on them. And it's like, what? Why do you have that? You have absolutely no need for that. It's like there's no fact circling. You're not calling in an airstrike. You don't have to laser designate anything. If you need a laser for your gun, there's simpler ones out there. Yep, exactly, Alex. And there's even other guys who were talking about when they got downrange, they'd have, you know, X amount of mags and all this other crap on their guns and all this gear and stuff like that. And after their first month in, they were so stripped down you wouldn't recognize them compared to the guys that showed up. Because they learned what they needed and what they didn't, and they left behind what they didn't. And then if there was something that called for some of the extra stuff they were carrying, they would pack it for that particular patrol, but they wouldn't waste time with it otherwise. That, and you stand less a chance of losing it if you don't have it with you. Okay, now we can step forward in the instructions again. The back plate is now done. That's all interior that we got finished. That's all interior that we got finished. There we go. More photo etch that we've got to take care of. Like, why couldn't this have been molded in? If I had the, if I had plastic rivets, I'd just put them on, to be honest. Trying to flatten it. This is going to be a pain in the ass to glue on if I can't do that. There we go. I'm resting this on a paint jar because those mud guards in the back stick down lower. I don't feel like building the wheels right now because I don't want to have to take them back apart to paint the rims. Too much glue. You okay down there, Arnie? Yeah, Platoon was a good movie. I just feel like that by the time it came out, we were already on the downward slide of Vietnam movies at the time. Even my father, who was a Vietnam vet, is like, okay, that's just one too many. P-76. Well, it's a question of, do you want to haul that shit around? And do you need that shit? And, who was it? Was it Shrek? Calls it Black Hawk Down syndrome, where everybody wants to go in prepared for every contingency when you really don't need it. Come on. Yeah, there's somebody out there that calls it Black Hawk Down syndrome. I just forget who it was. Yeah, there's both those, and then there's the happy balance between the two. Beast Brew. Frank, thank you for doing that over there and not in front of the camera. This is a model building channel, not only pause. GC. B. Well, it's a bit more than that, Alex. Just... it caused a mindset of always the worst case scenario. So everybody wanted to have all the ammo and all the water and all the food at all the time. When it's just not possible, and it actually makes you less effective when you're loaded down. And I get it, you want to try and be prepared as possible for every contingency, but that's not always going to be the case. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get a Q-tip in there and clean the inside of that. And it's a bad term to say, but at the same time, the whole thing that was going on in Mogadishu was supposed to be a quick in, quick out. And it turned out to not be. And everyone's afraid of being in that situation. Which is understandable. But if you're going out in Humvees or on a foot patrol and you're not being dropped in Blackhawks, there's a difference in the mission. But the rest of it comes out to being Gucci gear, you know? Just like that, that stupid trend, and you still see it show up from time to time. What was it called? That stupid grip. Way of holding the barrel. E51. Okay. What was it called? The stupid C-clamp grip, I think it was called. So you know what I'm talking about then, Ants. How you kind of have on you what you need, and then the rest you store away and have it accessible. I mean, if your Bradley or your Humvee gets knocked out, you know, shit hits the fan. But at the same time, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, the gangsta grip, too, is another nickname for it. I always saw it as a joke. And yeah, I may have only been Air Force, but I like to shoot, too. And to me, that grip, to me, it doesn't work. Other people say otherwise, that's fine. To me, it doesn't work. Is there a time and a place to hold on to the front of your rifle like that? Possibly. But most of the time, you know, either closer in, not exactly on the mag well, but a little bit closer to it for stabilization can work. Or the old school, just let it rest, you know? And there's guys, oh, it's all about recoil control and this and that. And then I just want to say to them, it looks like you don't know how to handle your weapon then. B-34. And I actually laughed my ass off in fucking Rogue One. There's a stormtrooper doing the fucking C-clamp running into a building. On the Scarif scene. Or not the Scarif scene, the Jeddah scene. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? But I know you guys out there are more experienced than me. You know, you can give your own 2 cents on it, but to me that grip just goes against all reason. And I know firing stances and things change. Like back in World War II, chicken wing used to be the thing. Now it's not. And it makes sense why it's not, because it makes you a smaller target when you don't have your arms sticking way out there. But the one thing that's never changed throughout all of shooting that I know is resting the barrel. Where did it go? There it is. And I've always been taught you want that barrel to be able to be fluid. You want to rest it. You want to have it not restrained. Okay, that's not going to work from there. Aha! Nope. Oh well. I'll figure it out later. That. Driver's hatch. D20. Take it easy, ants. And Major Havoc's with us. Well, I'm not talking about a foregrip that you can install on the gun, Alex. It was a strange way that you would see people actually grip the front of their weapon, where they bring their arm up alongside the barrel and they're holding it almost at the end of where the grip on the muzzle ends, or on the barrel. It's here. And it got so far as to where you'd see people running around, I shit you not, with their forearm up in front of their sight doing it, almost like wrapping their arm around their barrel. It got so stupidly over-exaggerated by all these gun nuts. Here, I'll just link this and you can get an idea of what it is. And to me, that when you're gripping it that far forward, it transfers any movement from your body to the end of the muzzle. At least that's the way I see it. And you can even see it when that guy's walking forward, that his body movement is influencing his barrel sway a lot more than it should be. Okay. I'm gonna get this glued in place. We're gonna have to hand paint the hatch. It will be open. The driver's gonna be sitting there having a smoke break. You don't see it too much now, and you don't really hear about it, because the ooh-ah factor's worn off. But for a while, if you were into any kind of firearm stuff, you saw that crap everywhere. I'm about to jinx myself. We haven't had a kickbot yet. And I don't know how old that video is. Like I said, the major woo-ah about it's worn off, God, years ago. But it's still, you can still see it from time to time. I'm gonna have to crawl around on the floor for a minute and look for that little piece of dust. And they don't give you any extras on those. At least I don't think they do. Tweezers went boing. I think I have one extra life when it comes to these little things for the hatches. Thank you, Major Havoc. Yeah, how you doing? So, you're probably not going to see my ass sticking up. Yeah, it inhaled really sharply. I'm going to be down on the floor for a second. I have an idea where it went. I didn't feel it hit my foot. I think it landed just to the left of it. But it is extremely tiny. I think I see it. Yep. Clear my notifications out. Woohoo! The e-thoughts are back on Instagram. So glad to see that when I don't really care. Sorry. I just had 3 thirst traps just follow me on there. I'm going to leave the hatch functional for now. That way I can actually close it temporarily for painting. But I need to paint the inside of it. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do this the even harder way then. And then once I'm done painting, I can actually just drop a little glue. It's not even that, Alex. It's... I don't know. It kind of like in model building, you get all these trends, I guess. Like the whole... what was the effect? And you still see it pop up too, but not as much. Color modulation. The whole paint each panel and part with a different color or gradient kind of thing. It's like that, but for tactical shooter people. Alright, so this guy, according to the box art, this guy will be sitting up here, having his smoke. Oh, here's my attempt at Tropentarn. I don't know if you guys saw the update on YouTube last night. Still some more work to do on the figure. I want to see if I can pop out the straps and the pockets a bit more. The face still needs work. That's my first try at it. I think I went too heavy on the green and the brown. NATO green. There you are. Ooh, the scammers are on one today. What are you after? Oh, there's a spoder on the floor. Let me make sure it's not a deadly one. Don't bother the spoder. If it's a jumper, I want you to leave it alone. If it's not a jumper, we'll take care of it. It's not a jumper. Yeah, that's a hurdy owie spider, so we're gonna get rid of it. Yep, there we go. There we go. Yeah, Frank, spider's gone. Don't worry about it. I'll have to come back later and paint the pad on the inside of the hatch black. But all this also gets painted green. And the raised lip. Just to make sure we got coverage for when we paint the sand on. Yeah, let me get the other one painted. D19. There's a lot of layers on this model, that's for sure. You know, I think I'm going to do all these while they're on the sprue. We don't have to worry about it then. Let's get under there. At least anything that goes on the underside. This is an odd mix. Gonna try and jump ahead a little bit on some of the smaller parts to give this more time to dry. And if I do it right, I'll be able to close all the hatches, paint it, and then open them up and have a correct shadow. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. These headphones don't have enough bass to enjoy this music. What's the one I got today? Let's give this one a listen. All right. Set this aside. I need E and G sprues. I'm not putting the wiper blades on yet. E47. Up here. So does this earlier time slot work better for some people? I'd like to try even earlier, but we'll have to see how I feel tomorrow morning, to be honest. Watch out, Arnie. I don't want to step on you. You keep scooting a little closer. E61. Five. I'm guessing that's the backup camera, and this is the protective housing for it. But I think we're also coming up on another stretch break time. Yep, another few minutes. Try and get a few more pieces glued on. Okay, close you up. Ooh, look, more photo etch. $35. Am I even going to be able to see that once it's on? Like, seriously, am I going to even be able to see that little PE mesh once it's glued in place? Is it worth the headache to even bend that to shape? No. You won't even see the texture. There's no way to highlight it. I'm not using it. Okay, I need G-sprue real quick. And I'll even hold that up in front of the camera so you can see the width that we've got to work with and the detail that they're trying to add. Right there, that little mushroom cap. It's about 2 times the thickness of an X-Acto blade. Come on, autofocus. And they wanted to wrap this in a circle around it to try and get it to fit. That's wide enough. You'll see that when it's on the part. This one? Nah. Well, it goes back to what I've always said. It's all about what you put into it and what you determine to be of importance on a model. to me, having a photo etch detail inside some place that's going to be painted over and hidden under a wash and shadowed anyway. Because when you see that at the angle it's supposed to be seen at, once it's painted, you ain't seeing shit under there. I think on the real vehicle you can't even make out what's under there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, not unless you're really zoomed in on it. And the instructions have you glue this in backwards. Okay, another grab handle with no number. So I gotta figure out what one that is. It could have a number, it's just not near it. E52. Let's see if E52 is the right part. Oh my god, it is. Was Marbles just down here yelling at me? He was. Marmar! Marble boy, come here. No, he's ignoring me. I know he heard me because he turned his head and kind of half looked. While helps if I don't pull the wrong handle. I'm an idiot today, guys. I'm sorry. Wait, I'm an idiot every day. But thanks again to everybody hanging out. It helps. Okay, this mix isn't too terrible. It started out a bit on the harder side, but it's leveled off. I kind of like it. It's got a bit of grunt to it. Hey, Marmar. Yeah, come here, buddy. Come here, big guy. Come here. Oh, who's the big softy? Oh, the big soft boy. Yeah. Hi. Hi, big guy. Cat break. Yeah. I know, you're worried about Arnie. D16. He went right over, grabbed Frankie by the head, and started cleaning him. I wish you guys could see this. It's funny as hell. Are you guys playing? Oh, Marbles has the zoomies now. He's a big boy to have the zoomies. But he just looked at Frank and went, and then took off running. The real question is, are there enough fucks left to give? Some models there aren't. To be honest though, when it comes to the tank transporter, I'm gonna try my best to mimic the look and feel of some of the plumbing that goes down the frame for the trailer connections. Okay, another camo net rack. And I'm going to pause real quick and take that stretch break I should have taken about 10 minutes ago. So I'll be right back, and we'll continue dragging our feet on this. I mean, working on this. Alright, I'm back. I honestly can't say if we will get as far as painting today, though. We'll give it our best shot. I'm not gonna push it. B5? I'd like to get the base coat on at least, but if I have to save that for tomorrow and let glue dry overnight, then so be it. And remember, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that. Because, yeah, they changed everything up, so now you have to do that for your views to count. And I've noticed a shift. I was getting easily 1,000 views in a day or two on shorts. Now I'm lucky to break 300. So in order to help, you gotta interact. How's that? It's up to you what you want to do, but they're making it so you have to do. Now we'll make a second one of those for the other side. Oh, you're playing with your puff by yourself. We gotta rewrap the twine on that thing. You guys have shredded that. So I will be using what's left of the desert camo netting I got on this. But it's not going to be like it was on the LAV. Apparently it was common for them to fold it neatly and then lash it down here and here. So I think that's what I'm going to do to kind of give it that same look. B26 times 2. And 25. Where are you guys at that the internet's getting knocked out? I haven't been keeping up with the hurricane situation, so I hope it's not there. we go. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and watching. Much appreciated. I have quite enjoyed the spikes in attention that the higher viewership has gotten me lately. It has helped out on the channel a lot, so keep it up. I think they lost internet again. So I still need to go have a dig around in my wife's office, but I think she might have one of those black mesh bags that I was thinking of to do the anti-glare panels that they had on the ISAF Fennecs. Well, there is that. It's about to hit 100 degrees today, where I live. I woke up and saw it was like 65 outside, and I'm like, ooh, I can open the windows. Then I looked at the forecast for the day, and it said 98, 99, 100. I'm like, no. We're just not gonna do that now. Okay, so I need... this sprue and this sprue. We're gonna get the next hatch on. Yeah, the anti-glare mesh that they had. You can see it on a lot of the ISAF vehicles. Riot mesh, what is it? I don't know if it's supposed to be a protective layer or if it's just there to keep glare down. No, I'm not talking about the slat panels, just the mesh. Pantyhose, believe it or not, is too big. I have some of that for painting purposes. What I'm on about is a finer mesh, almost like a tea bag, that's black, that she has upstairs in her office. There's some craft ribbon that's made out of the same material. I think she has a spool of it, but I'm not sure. We'll find out, I guess. But that, a bit of thick masking tape painted the right color. It ought to work. It'll be one of the very last things I'm doing, though. I want to be sure the rest of the model looks good, so if I can't find it or if I can't add it, then I'm not too worried about it. Might be thinking a different thing here. I'll show you. This stuff wouldn't do well to stop rocks and bottles and stuff like that. I'll just post a link to the image once I find it again. Yeah, there's some on this one on Reddit, and they've actually got them flipped back on the front one. But you can see it on the two side windows. It's just a mesh to reduce the glare from the glass. You can see through it when you're sitting on it. But other than that, it doesn't do anything else. Definitely not for riot stuff. I wouldn't use it for that. It would be about as effective as a fart in the wind. And to be honest, if I'm going into Ireland, I'm going in a Humber Pig. But outside of talk of Ireland, it seems like a bit of the troubles are headed back your way. For a different reason, but probably the same required violence. Alex, it's weird you say that, because I've seen pictures of much more modern displays of, like, you know, like German parades and stuff like that. And damned if their dress uniforms still don't evoke the 1940s. That one will glue in place. Okay. Let's see how that little bugger fits into his hatch. Because this guy will be kind of sitting pretty here. And that one will go there. Hobby shops that specialize in what? And that goes there. I must have missed something. Even if I don't use the KSK guys on the ground, that'll look pretty decent. Let me see. Yeah, they got him up here smoking, but he wouldn't also be out of place on the ground, which would also in turn allow me to have a hatch open. I'm gonna have to have a think on that one. Oh, yeah, no. I Nope, it was like that back in 2003 to 2006 when I lived over there too. So, I know exactly what you mean. And, I'm all for reenactments. I know military history reenactments are huge, but there's some guys that just take it a bit too far. And I'm not against even modeling it, but still, there's. It seems like if you're into the German World War II thing, you're either very intellectual about it, which is fine, or you're into the wrong aspect of it, which is kind of creepy. Okay, B30, B31. And I mean, I've got some RC tanks and stuff. I've got a Tiger, I've got a couple Stugs. But I've also got Shermans, 3 different kinds of Shermans. 2 different Leopard 2s, a Leopard 1, Gepard. I've got a bit more of a variety. I even got T90, Merkava, Israeli M60, US M60. It's the guys I worry about in the hobby are the ones that do only World War II German. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go over to the other side of the room, thanks. Like, there's one individual in the RC tank community. He's got the talent for doing the tanks, but they are quite literally all World War II German. And you cannot find a photograph of him without a certain hat with certain symbology on it. Ugh, yeah. I'm all for loving the love of the hobby, but read the room, and when the room starts looking at you wrong, maybe it's you. There's been plenty of times the room's looked at me wrong. Still does from time to time. Okay, am I getting this backward? Let me see what I'm doing wrong here. That goes like that. Get off. Aha! I was doing wrong. But no, on the whole, I think Germany itself is trying to do right, considering history. There's some events going on in the world, though, that really makes you wonder if we're going to see the old them a little bit or not. And honestly, would it be a terrible thing if we did, to a certain degree? I mean, I've seen the videos from the subways over there. I've seen the videos from the underground, what's going on. It's not pretty. And it's not just from news outlets. I can't stand our news outlets. I look for the videos themselves to get the raw, no commentary side of things. And honestly, if my grandfather came back to life right now, he would march over there with the rest of his buds and spit on every leader of every European nation right now. That's the truth. But anyway, enough of that. Even I don't do that anymore, Alex. Like, yesterday I was running around in my old BDU bottoms. That's fine. But I'm not going to put on my old uniform, unless I'm in a parade or going to some kind of function. I'm not putting on my full uniform again. Unless there's a necessary reason to do it, I'm not wearing it again. E2. I'm just glad that by the time I got out, we were still wearing BDUs and not the the joke that was the Air Force uniform at the time. Six years to develop that shit, only to have them start replacing it in 2 or 3 years with the OCP pattern. The ABU is probably one of the biggest wastes of taxpayer money in the world in recent history. $50, that's it. Alright. C3. What are you doing over there, Frank? Oh, you brought me the poof. You want it? Go get it. I still think it was funny, though. I was watching Space Cowboys and saw Clint Eastwood repping my old unit on there. I think this just gets wrapped around us, as is. Yep. Yeah, the blue and green tiger stripe, or blue and gray, green, and sage, and Yeah. The digital Tiger Stripe. That they spent the better part of 6 years, if not more, developing it, and even then at the end they still had 3 permutations that they were working on until they finally settled on one. Nobody liked it. There was no need for it. And before I got out, even some of the requirements for keeping it clean and such for maintainers were almost unobtainable. Did I just have a pop-up happen? Sorry, I could have sworn I just saw something pop up. I just want to make sure all my shit's clear. I wish Ares or Fenrir were more active in here right now. They can give a more clear and concise discourse on the opinion of the ABU within the ranks of the Air Force. They had to wear it. I didn't. Okay, Castor Labs is screwing up. Chat might go weird. I might not be able to read what you're saying because Castor Labs is doing something funny. If you have stream trouble, it defaults to Twitch, so you can head over to Twitch to communicate there further. If you lose me on YouTube or Kick, I don't know, I might have to reset things. It says I'm connected, but I don't trust it. Exactly, Davos. It's... yeah. And for the longest time, a lot of us that were the maintainers were just saying, we work on concrete. Most of us work in some of the hottest areas on the planet. Give us the DCU. Just give us... we already have it. It matches the terrain we're working on, for the most part. Just give us the DCU. What, the DCU or the ABU? Or both? I know the DCU could be one. And it shrank quickly. Yeah, both, yeah. It says YouTube is reconnected. I can try, but Twitch or Kick if you want to. The options to support the stream are the same on both Twitch and Kick now. I think they are phasing it out a little bit. They're replacing it with a version that uses the same color palette as sorry. The Scorpion or OCP or the multicam, whatever they call it. It has the same color palette as that. And they may keep it as a more selective, like, okay, going to an arid environment, here's this one. Going to a wooded environment, here's that one. Okay, where do I fold this? This is going to be a problem. Thanks for that, Alex. I just don't know if we lost Jeff and the other guy. Yeah, Jeff and George, I think it was. You guys still with us, or did it drop you two? I'm trying to find out where to grab it so I can create the break needed. I think that's got it. Okay. I just had a little bit of technical trouble on my end, so I didn't know if it had dropped YouTube completely or not. Yep, says I'm still here. Yeah, the new requirements on YouTube are really screwing things up. It really is a neat vehicle. There we go. Just having to be very careful with the photo etch on it. Yeah, I got that fold in just the right spot. Woohoo! What, Frankie boy? Come on, get on the chair. Come on. Okay, I got all those bits done. Okay, I need the beast brews. Yeah, I'd seen this kit a lot of times on and off down at a hobby shop in Salt Lake. And then the one time I go down there and I'm actually interested in getting it, it was sold. So I went on Amazon and got it. Beast brew, East brew. Okay, this I can throw out. And they also do a the Dutch version. I don't know what the differences really are between the two. This one's the German version. Does anyone know if the UK has started taking delivery of the Boxer yet, or are they still waiting on that? We're coming up close on our third stretch break of the day. Like I said, I want to kind of try and push myself to go a little bit further than normal. So we're not going to be stopping at 3 hours like we normally do. Even though I feel like on YouTube 3 hours is probably about the max a lot of people want. Gotcha. And I think the Marines are also going for a new 8-wheeled vehicle to replace the AAV. And they're pretty close to choosing that one too. Can't blame them. The Amtrak's been around since the 60s. Okay, I've already got that one on. Just need the two B4s. I don't know, I might watch the next episode of Alien Earth tonight and just watch it again with Jen when she gets home. Well, that, and I know the decision for the Boxer was made at a time when the UK, or not the UK, but Europe itself was a bit more stable. Is it possible that recent events are causing certain organizations to have a rethink on priorities? Because honestly, with what's going on, I wouldn't want to reduce the number of Challenger 2s just yet. Especially considering... has there been a combat loss of a Challenger 2 yet? I know we've had combat losses of Abrams and Leopards. And I do know the story of the one Challenger that got pummeled by RPGs. And made it back, got what it needed fixed up, and just went right back out. So... well, they're going to have to move fast, and the Boxer itself is the size of a Leopard 2, so how is that a better target? Or a better thing? You know what? Fuck it. After stream, I'm gonna order that Boxer, because even on the transport, it's fucking huge. I just I don't know. See, the CV903 makes more sense. Well, they got their hands on one from a track kill, but the tank itself wasn't knocked out like the Abrams or Leopard that they got their hands on. That's what I'm saying is, I don't think a Leopard has actually been physically destroyed in combat to the point where it couldn't be repaired and reserviced. Ooh, now we're doing the little peeping Tom. Good. These are mostly the E sprues. Yep, E's and D's. Because I've seen what the Leopard and the Abrams look like. There's not much left of them. They were thoroughly knocked out. And I know the Challenger has been used just as heavily, if not heavier, than the Abrams. Definitely heavier than the Leopard. Up until Ukraine, the only Leopard 2 losses I knew of were Turkish ones where they were used wrong with no infantry support, and they were older Leopard 2A4 models. E58, 59... But yeah, they used one as a stationary artillery on a hillside. And then they used the other in a city, in a built-up area. And didn't have any infantry support with it. Yeah, I know what the Bloodhound is. Those things are neat, for lack of a better descriptor. The only other worry is, and you would have seen the feedback from our own troops in the army about it, wheeled vehicles don't do well once the ground's torn up. They learned that with the Striker. So the Boxer's replacing the Warriors? That kind of makes sense, though, because the Warrior itself as a platform is pretty old. Wasn't a bad platform, but it's getting up there in age, too. I mean, it could be worse. You could still be using the 432s, but the Warrior isn't too much different than a 432. But then again, you're still using the Scimitar. Oh, yeah. No, you're not wrong, Alex. And that's even with... That's the big concern right now, because all we have seen... Well, no, we've seen videos of the Russians moving en masse as well. And between HIMARS and drone strikes, they've just been getting obliterated. But it's also because the Russians don't have any form of dominance in the air, in the area. And everybody's like, well, what a... No. And then everybody's on about, well, what about jammers? Why don't we use jammers on the drones? They thought of that. And then there's video out there showing how they fixed that. They use fiber optics. There's the one video that went around recently. The soldier saw a drone go by in the woods, just... He ran up behind it with a pair of scissors and cut the fiber optic tether and set it off. It was funny and scary at the same time. So even if you have jammers in terms of like RF jammers and things like that, if you've got fiber optic control, there's nothing your jammers can do. God, I completely forgot about the Ajax. Whenever I hear that, whenever I hear anything about the Ajax, I think the war rocket from fucking Flash Gordon. I'm sorry. I can't not think that. But drones have definitely changed the combat landscape. And in limited conflict like what's going on in the Ukraine right now, they are devastating. However, it would be interesting to see how that kind of thing holds up in a more highly fluid environment where logistical trains and things are just moving that much faster. Right? Because you got to admit, the front's pretty stagnant over there. You know where you can reach and where you can't. And as far as the long-range stuff hitting Moscow and other cities in Russia from Ukraine, we've had the Tomahawk missile doing that for decades. So it would be interesting to see the same kind of asymmetrical warfare applied during more aggressively dangerous antics. For lack of a better terminology. 18 and 19. Can you post a link to the Ajax just so I can refresh my memory? I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about, but I could be wrong. Plus, I have to wonder, because we haven't seen it demonstrated. None of the equipment that's been sent over has been sent with it. And I can kind of understand why, because we're trying to keep it close to our vest. How would the trophy system respond to drones? I mean, it's meant to use a... It's not a passive system, it's an active system. But it's meant to use an explosive charge to take down any kind of incoming threat. So it would be interesting to see what Trophy would do to drones. And that might be a deciding factor. I've seen the test against incoming rockets and incoming armaments. Oh yeah, the Ajax. That's basically a Warrior based on the Challenger 2 drivetrain, isn't it? Yeah. Tell me you had the Israelis design something for you without telling me you had the Israelis design something for you? What do you mean by that, Alex? Well, the key thing is, when you have systems like that that can be used effectively, yes, they have a limited amount of times they can fire, but unlike the Russians, most commanders, when faced with an overwhelming thing like that, would leave. Or they'd alter their tactics. They'd do something. The Russians just kept driving across those same empty fields. And what I'm seeing shows they haven't changed their doctrine since Stalin was an altar boy. They still listen to their inept commanders that say, we need that point taken by 3 p.m. last Wednesday, so go do it. And they go do it. And when they try and fail, and they try and die, they don't think, well, what did we do wrong here? You know? They just keep doing it. They don't care about the losses. They care about, ooh, commanders say take that, we take that. No. It's the kind of human shield tactic that worked in World War II. It doesn't work anymore. Like all the cope cages you see on top of their T-90s, they've been shown to be ineffective. But now that we've also seen this kind of thing going on for how many years now? You think we haven't developed some form of effective countermeasure against it? More than what the knee-jerk reaction from the Soviet Union's been? But every time we see video from the engagements, that's exactly what we're seeing. That's the sad part. But the thing that concerns me, and makes me think that this is all a sham anyway, with all the positive shit that's gone on, with all the things destroyed and deployed and all that, you never hear about ground being retaken. So it looks like what we're building is the box for this whole getup. Let me look ahead to see what's going on here. Okay. D8, 9, 7. And E89. I think there's something more than that going on. Something we're not being allowed to see, but there's something more than that. This is more like hate that we've not seen in 80 years. The closest we've seen to this kind of wanton destruction of people is Sarajevo. But that's why I also think it's stupid that the UN itself has not stepped in. Because that's the thing. This is really... Sarajevo may have been mostly internal, but at the same time, it's the same kind of cultural clash. This isn't just Russians and Ukrainians. This is something else, and it won't stop no matter what they do. Even if they were to call ceasefire right now, which they're trying to do, and they're trying to get all the peace talks. This is so culturally ingrained. No, there's something else. And honestly, when it kicked off, there should have been a resolution and a multinational peacekeeping organization just like Sarajevo. Just like Yugoslavia. But that's just what I get out of it. That's what I see. But that's not from me watching the news or anything else. That's from looking at history, seeing what's gone there in the past, in that region, seeing the kind of hatreds that have been around for generations, and extrapolating from that. I don't expect anyone to agree with me or not. It's just that's what I think. That's what I'm saying is there is something else going on that we are not being allowed to see. Because the kind of shift that happens, or that's happened, you don't see that kind of mental instability outside of a hat maker from the 1800s. You know? Like, really, is there something in the water? It's been 30 years since a conflict happened over there, so it's time for another one? I don't know, but it's fucking ridiculous. Okay, what was I after? Ow. PE-17. Anyway, aside from that, what do y'all think of the stupid news reports about a so-called extraterrestrial thing headed our way? I know, tonal whiplash, but we've discussed the current world politics into the ground. Not even politics. There wasn't a political bent on that. It was just we've discussed current events of that nature into the ground. But this so-called alien asteroid that's possibly self-propelled, what do y'all think of that weirdness? Supposed to be here in what, 17 days? If it's real? Yeah. They keep saying its speed is unnatural and this and that. You know, I'll worry if it starts to slow down or show other signs of emission. Or do you think it's another case of, look over here while we do this? Because funny how all this stuff to protect the kids just suddenly came up online in terms of like Roblox, or not Roblox, YouTube and Visa and MasterCard and Steam. All of a sudden Roblox gets hammered into it. Where are the voices on that? Because Roblox is far worse than Steam when it comes to that kind of crap. I'm just going to assemble this and paint the lenses outside. I think what I'm trying to get at is there's a shit ton of noise going on right now. I can't describe it any other way. To me, it feels like noise. nonsensical noise. And what's going to happen when we can hear again? Not me. I don't have an expiration date. I plan on living forever. Having said that... I'm just going to paint the lenses after the fact. I'm not too worried about keeping them perfect. What, the not me, I plan on living forever? Yeah. I think I'm gonna have that angled to the side a bit. It's gonna be up on its little stalk. Yeah. I'm gonna have it looking in the same direction the KSK guys are heading. And sorry if I got serious with that, but it's just... this is all stuff that's happening, you know? And if we don't talk about it, when shit really starts happening, then what? D29, D7... I'd rather talk about it now than yell about it later. How's that? Yep. And that's why, you know, that's why I said this whole thing feels like we're not, something that we're not being shown. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. Just everything right now feels like a distraction. So I'm going to leave this separate, because while the vehicle itself would be sand, I I think, I'm not 100% sure. Let me look. Oh no, it is painted sand. Okay. At least on this one it is. I'm looking at a few just to see. No, there's some where it's NATO green, there's others where it's sand. So I could go either way. And I'm making sure the one with the NATO green one isn't just repainted in the camo. It's not. This one's even in a 3-color camo. I'm going to research a bit more because I know. Because there's this camo. And it looks like there is a 3-color one where it's got the dark chocolate brown. Because there's the sand, earth camo. And then there's the sand, earth, and dark brown camo. And then there's the sand over the NATO 3-color camo. And then there's sand, earth, and middle stone. Jesus, how many camo options do they have? My brain's gonna break if I keep looking. Yep. That little thing's gonna glue in right there. Yeah, you'll be separate though. The weapon station, the side doors and wheels. All right. I think we're going to call it a day. I need to let some glue dry on this, definitely. Try and hop back on later, maybe. And see if we can do the weapon station or not. Yeah. But there are things I need to take care of here. It's been 3.5 hours. Not the far I wanted, but I have reached a stopping point, unfortunately. So sorry if we got a little deep there at the end, but I don't know, just it's what's in my head lately. But thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for the new subs on YouTube and any follows elsewhere. Just like I said before, anything you can do to help by liking and sharing and subbing, you know. It's all I can ask. And that's on YouTube. If you want to sub on Twitch or Kick, that's up to you. I can't make you. But every little helps. I'm trying to get this to take over and be a bit more beneficial. Slowly but surely. So, yeah, take it easy. Have a good